Boruto Chapter 35 review. 2 months in the making and we finally get to see Chapter 35, and I'm telling you guys, it was definitely well worth the wait. I expected to see a lot of information in this chapter, and that's exactly what we got and even more. Real quick shout out to Organic Dinosaur and her team for translating this manga chapter early for us. Now in this video I'm going to be specifically keying on a certain situation that happened in the Boruto manga, and it's of course the scene with Sasuke, Jigen, and also all of the other Otsutsuki artifacts that were in the background, plus the 10 tails. Now, to give you guys a mini backstory about how we actually got here in terms of the information being obtained by Konohamaru, there was a blimp that crashed, which basically sparked the whole Kado organization arc. Now, the blimp crashing had Kawaki on board, but not just Kawaki, it had a boatload of information. Once Konohamaru seen the blimp crash, one of the first things that he did was try to extract a lot of information that was actually on the computer in the blimp. That intel actually costed his teammate's life, who was standing guard and watching over Konohamaru while Konohamaru was taking that intel. But once that whole situation was over, fast forwarding to chapter 35, Sai said on that flash drive was coordinates to a certain point. Now the certain point seems to be this Otsutsuki hideout. No one really knows if it's like a hideout, if it's a headquarters, if it's a cave. From what we got from Sai is just that he said it was a certain point, and you can only access that certain point if you have time, space, ninjutsu. And of course, the only person in the Hidden Leaf Village, or the only person in the ninja world as of right now that we know of that has time, space, ninjutsu down to a science, is Sasuke Uchiha. So obviously Sasuke went to investigate that certain point. Now once Sasuke got to the certain point, it was the mother lode of Otsutsuki information, and of course we didn't necessarily get to see all the information that was there, mainly because Sasuke was rudely interrupted by Jigen himself. We're probably gonna have to start calling Jigen Otsutsuki, but we are just gonna keep it at Lord Jigen as of right now. Sasuke was looking at a couple of engravings. There were 6 different engravings and they were all paired up, so it was 3 pairs of 2 engravings. Now the engravings specifically seemed like they represented Otsutsuki members. In the middle of the engravings there was a circle, and once you press the circle you got to see a hologram of the Otsutsuki member that the engraving actually represented. The first engraving that Sasuke did push was Kinshiki Otsutsuki. The second one was Momoshiki Otsutsuki, obviously because they are a pair. The other 2 was Kaguya Otsutsuki, and the pair that was linked to Kaguya Otsutsuki happened to be Jigen. Once Sasuke pressed the Jigen button, Sasuke didn't necessarily know that was Jigen. The thing is, Sasuke knows Jigen's face mainly because he got intel from the Anbu that Sai is the head of. The reason that Sasuke didn't know that it was Jigen was, one, because Jigen was obviously facing backwards, as you guys see right here, and also because Jigen looked very different. One, because he had a cloak on him that obviously resembles Jinchuriki's of the 10 tails. We've seen it in the case with Madara, and we also seen it in the case with Obito. Because Naruto has the Sage of 6 Paths chakra, his cloak also resembles the same thing. But not only that, Jigen also got a horn, which is very similar to all of the other Otsutsuki members. Kaguya had 2 horns, Kinshiki had a horn, and also Momoshiki had a horn. After Sasuke seen that, he heard rumblings underneath him, and under that was a whole 10 tails. Now I've been hearing a lot of people saying that this 10 tails is possibly synthetic, that it's probably man-made, or it's probably just not a real 10 tails, and I have to tell you guys, that's bonkers. Of course this is a real 10 tails. The key thing about this whole situation is that this quote-unquote certain point, dubbed by Sai himself, is probably a different dimension. As you guys know, different dimensions have different god trees, different dimensions has chakra upon themselves. So of course, thinking that this is a different dimension would obviously lead us to believe that this dimension can also have a 10 tails. And that's exactly what this seems like. Now after Sasuke sees the 10 tails, he was caught off guard because Jigen actually appeared in that same dimension. Once Jigen appeared, he flew down to the 10 tails. Sasuke obviously took cover and he tried to hide from Jigen, not because Sasuke is scared of Jigen or anything, but because Sasuke wants to obtain all of the information that he could possibly obtain, and of course that's exactly what he did. Now once Jigen seen the 10 tails, he flew down, and this basically confirmed that Jigen, one, has time, space, ninjutsu, and also can fly. He sees the 10 tails. The 10 tails tries to bite him, but Jigen said something very interesting. Jigen said, "You can't eat me yet. You have to wait until the vessel is complete." Obviously that's not word for word, I'm kind of paraphrasing, but you guys see exactly what he says right here. So that kind of got me thinking, Is there like a plan to absorb this 10 tails and also for Jigen to completely take over Kawaki's body so he could possibly be even stronger? But after he said that, he told the 10 tails, I'm gonna need a little bit more power, and of course he absorbed some chakra from the 10 tails. Now this right here was insane in itself, mainly because it seems like he tamed the 10 tails just like how Madara tamed the 10 tails back in the day. But it's not only that, Jigen seems like he's being parasitic to the 10 tails because all he's doing is siphoning chakra from the 10 tails. And it doesn't look like this was the first time that Jigen siphoned chakra from the 10 tails. It's like once he said, I need more power, the 10 tails was calm. Like he didn't necessarily try to react. He didn't necessarily try to attack Jigen or anything like that. He was just like, all right, I'm just going to let you take some more of my chakra. Now, once Jigen absorbs some more of the 10 tails chakra, it seems that Jigen actually reverts back to his Otsutsuki state where he has the horns, where his karma seal activates, and he looked exactly the same as the hologram that Sasuke seen earlier. But after we see that, it seems that Jigen reverts back to his regular state. So now this has me thinking, does Jigen have complete control of that Jinchuriki like state, something like what Naruto was able to do with his Sage of Six Paths state? As you guys know, with a snap of a finger, Naruto can transform into his Sage of Six Paths state. This could also be possible for Jigen transforming into this Jinchuriki like state. Now, one key thing that I do want to point out, and you can see it clearly when he does show up in the hologram, but on Jigen's cloak you can clearly see 8 different tomos. Now in Naruto Shippuden, everybody that had that cloak, or majority of everybody who had that cloak, had 6 tomos. You got Madara with 6 tomos, Naruto had 6 tomos, the Sage of Six Paths had 6 tomos, and for the most part Obito had 6 tomos. Now that was prevalent mainly because we've heard of the name Sage of Six Paths. I'm guessing because of the name Six Paths it was always 6 tomos, but in this case Jigen has 8 different tomos on his cloak. Now this could possibly mean that the Jinchuriki power that he possibly has is probably even more powerful than Madara's Jinchuriki power or Obito's Jinchuriki power, and obviously that would definitely make sense if Jigen was the same power as like a Jinchuriki Obito or a Jinchuriki Madara. Naruto and Sasuke could just easily watch Jigen, but because we know that Jigen is definitely going to be a huge threat to characters like Sasuke and Naruto, we can obviously understand that Jigen is probably going to be much stronger, and Jigen having 8 tomos could possibly be a direct link to him actually being stronger or having a stronger state of being than the other characters that did also have this same cloak. But once Jigen Otsutsuki actually did absorb the chakra from the 10 tails, he spoke to himself and he asked himself, should he go after the other 2 vessels? Now this was very interesting, mainly because I'm not sure if Jigen would have probably felt confident enough to go after the other 2 vessels if he did not obtain that chakra from the 10 tails. And of course this goes directly to the theory that Jigen as of right now is probably a very old man. He's probably extremely weak in comparison to his actual prime. That is why he wants Kawaki as his vessel. That's why he wants to transfer himself into a body like Kawaki's, man, because Kawaki is young, his prime is coming up, just like how Orochimaru's bodies used to always fail him and he'd always try to transfer himself into a different body. Jigen could possibly be doing the same thing. So this right here is possibly a weakened state of Jigen. Now the scene ends right there. We don't necessarily know exactly what's going to happen in the future, mainly because Sasuke obviously heard Jigen saying that he was probably going to go after the 2 other vessels, and of course one of the vessels is Boruto. Now Boruto's a student, a direct student of Sasuke, so it wouldn't surprise me if Sasuke would try to stop Jigen right here if Jigen does make his intentions clear that he's going to eventually try to go after Boruto as well. One of the huge things that I do have to talk about is that Boruto is not with Naruto right now. I'll get into that in a later video. If Jigen were to go after Boruto right now, Boruto would pretty much be defenseless. We obviously know Mitsuki and Boruto wouldn't be strong enough to take down a character like Jigen. Sasuke would have to try to help Boruto if Jigen would try to go after Boruto. And also we're getting into the Dragon Ball Z and Dragon Ball Super problems where you have to fight in a completely open setting, because if you fight in like a city, too much buildings are going to be destroyed, too much people are going to become casualties, mainly because all the blast, all the power, the taijutsu waves, everything like that would pretty much destroy everything around them. So it would be smart for Sasuke to fight in a different dimension than to go back to his own dimension and fight amongst a whole bunch of pedestrians and a whole bunch of civilians that have nothing to do with this matter. So it could be very possible that in the next chapter Sasuke is going to have to fight Jigen right here. And of course we understand that Jigen is probably going to be as strong as Sasuke, if not even stronger than Sasuke, which could possibly mean that Sasuke might meet his end very, very soon, which would be absolutely insane. Now, earlier in this video, I did talk about 6 different engravings, and in this video, I talked about the 4 that they were. 4 of them were Momoshiki, Kinshiki, Kaguya, and Jigen. Now, the other 2 are a mystery as of right now. Now, obviously, the other 2 Otsutsuki members that we did see in the series of Naruto and Boruto are Toneri and Uroshiki Otsutsuki. But here's the thing, those 2 don't really strike me as being as a pair. Before, the other 2 that we did see that were really as a pair as we know them was Momoshiki and Kinshiki. Now, Jigen's relationship with Kaguya is largely unknown, but characters like Toneri and Uroshiki don't seem to be partners or pairs or a team in any estimation, in my opinion. Uroshiki literally sealed Toneri away for thousands of years. And not only that, specifically those 2 engravings were the only engravings there that were completely destroyed. If you guys see right here, when we see all 6 of the engravings, we see 4 of them perfectly intact. Those are the 4 that Sasuke did show us, which was Momoshiki, Kinshiki, Kaguya, and Jigen, and the other 2 are completely destroyed. Now, in my opinion, I think that Jigen killed both of those Otsutsuki members, and that's probably why their engravings are completely destroyed. And not only that, that would also explain why and how Jigen has karma seals. And Jigen doesn't have any regular karma seal. He has a karma seal that's completely, I mean, looks completely overpowered. It looks like he killed multiple Otsutsuki members. In the first chapter review, when I seen Jigen's karma seal, I told you guys, I thought Jigen probably destroyed like 1,000 Otsutsuki members to get that specific unique karma seal, because it just looked so crazy. So I'm guessing Jigen probably destroyed both of those Otsutsuki members, and that's why he has that karma seal, that unique, specific, special karma seal that he does have. But that's it for this video, and of course there's a whole lot of stuff that I did miss out on, and of course throughout this next month I will be talking a lot about all the topics that were actually pointed out in this chapter, so stay tuned for that. But it's been your boy Baara B, and we out.
It's a knife.
Check my clock, I can't stop. Fuck around, make my 40 pop. No popcorn, I pop pistols. Reaming my body, clothing no issue. Bitch, you look sick, you need a tissue. You drop a body, I just might bless you. I'm metrosexual, no high cholesterol. Where's Jenny Craig? Bitch, just get sexual.